This week, we begin our journey into Facebook, one of several major social networking websites. Now, social networking sites are places on the internet where we set up shop for the express purpose of socializing and hanging out with our friends. There's many social networking sites to choose from. MySpace is probably still the biggest of them all. In fact, so many people are signed up to MySpace that if it was a country, it would actually have the world's 6th largest population. But there is a new kid on the block. Facebook. It is the rising star of the social networking world. Now, Facebook began as a site that was limited just to the school community, but it quickly gained a really strong foothold and established both a culture and a huge following. So now it's available to everyone, and in my opinion, it is the best place for us to learn about social networking. So let's have a look. When you sign up for Facebook, the first thing that you're going to do, and signing up is free, by the way, the first thing you're going to do is create a profile. Your profile is all of the information that you want to share with your friends. It's basically telling them what's happening in your life, what you're interested in, what excites you. So here is my profile, and you can see it starts with a photograph, and then it's got some different information about me. Now, we set that information ourselves in the profile manager here. Now, you can choose exactly what information you want to share and what you don't want to share. So if I actually take a step back, you see here right at the top it says just where my hometown is and what networks I belong to. Vancouver and Vancouver, BC. No other information there. But I can actually put a lot more information in there if I choose to, but I choose not to. What sort of information could I add there? Well, I could say what sex I was. If people didn't know that I was male, I could tell them I'm male. And then I save those changes, and all of a sudden, when we go back into my profile, we see that now I am male, in case anybody was confused. So you can choose exactly what information you share. And that's an important thing to think of as we go through all of Facebook. You have to select very carefully what information you choose to share. So you can also say if you're looking for friendship or a relationship. You can tell what hometown you're in. You can even tell what political views you have. You can share all of that information. You can also share contact information, your email address, your phone number, your address if you choose to. And then when you get in the personal area, you can talk about what activities you want. This is an area people spend a lot of time because this is telling people kind of what's happening in your life. For example, I love fly fishing, and my favorite TV shows are Deadwood and Slings and Arrows, and of course, Dotto Tech. And my favorite all-time movie? Well, is there any question to anybody who knows me? The Princess Bride is the greatest all-time movie ever made. So you can share what music you like, your tastes, the books you're reading, and your friends will have access to this information. Once you've set up your profile, put the basic information in, you're ready to start filling out the rest of your homepage. For example, you're going to choose a photograph that you can upload. Photographs are very central to what happens in Facebook. Besides having your picture on as your profile picture, you also have photo albums that you can share. And people really like to share a lot of photos. I've got 6 photo albums here. Some of them are available to everybody to see, and some of them are not available to people who have limited access to my profile. So you can set up really close friends and family and more casual friends. So for example, if you watch the show and you become my friend, you're going to be able to see the Dotto Tech TV show photos, and you're going to be able to see all my photos from fishing, but you won't be able to see photos from my niece's wedding. I'm going to keep that more for family and really close friends. Facebook is all about sharing your photos, sharing your opinions, sharing your likes and dislikes, but you need to be careful about exactly what information you decide to put forward, because with any social networking site, you have to consider that people who you don't anticipate gaining access to the information will gain access to the information. So for example, if you put up an opinion, you have to be comfortable with your best friend seeing that opinion, but also that opinion reaching your worst enemy, reaching your boss, your parents, your children, the government. Anybody can gain access to information once it's put forward on the internet. So you have to be very careful exactly with what you are sharing. That's an overriding concern with all social networking sites. Now, we need friends. We have to find friends in order to be happy on Facebook. So where are our friends? How do we reconnect with old friends? It's actually quite a simple process. Well, after you've set up your profile, got all your information in, you can start looking for old friends in Facebook. And we do that by going into the search area and just starting to type in people's names who we want to reconnect with. So I'm going to type in Jeff and see if we can find Jeff on Facebook. And there he is. There's my partner and producer, Jeff Groberman, and he is on Facebook. So now I can either add him as a friend, which will start a process where he has to verify that he's my friend before we can see each other's profiles, or I can just poke him and say, hey, see, sometimes people aren't going to have their real photo on Facebook, or there's going to be a whole bunch of people with the same name, and you're going to think that's your friend, but you're not sure. In that case, you can be safe. You can just poke him and say, hey, is that you? Do you remember me? And sometimes it's not going to be, and no harm done, but sometimes it's going to be, and then you can become friends. Now, once you've added a friend or two, you're going to have access to their complete list of friends, and you're going to be able to search through it, and quite often they're people that you're also friends with. So once you've got your first friend or two, it's a very short process to adding many, many more friends. So now we've got friends on Facebook. We have a profile on Facebook. We're ready to start living the Facebook life. And we spend most of our Facebook life here in the Facebook homepage. This is where all the information about all our friends is brought together for us to consume. So in the morning, if you just boot up your computer and you open up Facebook, this is the page that you'll be brought to. And first of all, there's a news feed that tells you about all the changes and what's happening in everybody else's life. You hear what they're thinking, you hear if they've signed up for something. Down here we have information about somebody that's got engaged. You see if they've posted new photos. You can go and you can look at those photos. You gain a real quick appreciation for what's happening in everybody's life. Also in here, we have our different requests coming through. So for example, I've got two people that want to be my friend. When somebody sends a friend request, this is what you see. Actually, we have Adam. Oh, Adam's working on the show here today. He wants to be my friend, doesn't want to be left out. And Robin wants to be my friend. So all I have to do here is click confirm, and they will become my friend and have access to my profile. But I can also click here on limited profile, and that's going to mean that, they can only see certain things that I decide within my security settings they can see. For example, if I made Adam a limited friend, he wouldn't be able to see the photos of my niece's wedding. But I'm not going to do that. Instead, I'm going to confirm Adam as a full-on friend with all rights and privileges attached. And when I do that, an interesting little screen appears. They want to know how Adam and I know each other. Now, I tend to skip this step, but if you want to, you can say he's a member of my family, we met through Facebook, we hooked up. You can say those sorts of things. I just like to skip this step. And if Adam decides that he wants to tell the world how we met, he'll ask me for confirmation back, and I'll actually have the ability to be able to say, yes, we did meet working together on a TV show. Another type of request we get are event invitations. I mean, think about what friends do. We invite each other to go out and to do things. Well, I've got a lot of friends in the theater community in Vancouver, and look, they're inviting me to go see a new production of Nutcrackers, they're inviting me to see Side by Side by Sondheim, and they're inviting me to see An Evening with Sondheim. I have a lot of friends who appear to like Stephen Sondheim. But here I can say, yes, I'm going to accept this invitation, and then the people who are going that evening to see that show know that I'm coming as well, and they can actually kind of plan around it. Maybe they plan not to attend if I'm coming. It's their choice. But now we've got this ability to be able to invite people, and people are starting to use this almost for business as well, by the fact that they're inviting people to come and see their productions, to come and see their open houses, to come to their concerts and recitals. It's really enriching as far as bringing all your community together and letting them know what you are involved in at any time. One final thing I have time to show you today in Facebook is the status. You can find your status down here. Now, status says Steve is, and it basically tells people what's happening, what I'm thinking. So, for example, when I was traveling through the Maritimes, it would say Steve is visiting Halifax today. And that flowed directly into everybody's newsfeed, so they knew exactly where I was or what I was thinking. It's one of the most powerful communication tools in Facebook. Our generation needs to embrace social networking for several reasons. Most significantly is the fact that our children socialize in this environment, so we need to understand it. But there's a benefit to us as well. In our busy lives, we lose touch with old friends. None of us has the time to keep all the relationships we'd like to keep up to date, which is sad but true. Facebook allows us to keep relationships active. You can visit a friend's page, get updated through thoughts and photos, leave a quick comment. It might not be as fulfilling as a long dinner date to catch up, but it's practical, it's personal, and it's actually quite addictive. Check out Facebook. You will amaze your kids, you will enrich yourself, and don't forget, you can make friends with a computer celebrity.